All right, thank you very much, Adrian. Fantastic show so far, and I'm going to build on many things that people have already said up here. So you would think we got together, but I flew in from San Francisco, so that really wasn't possible to coordinate with these folks. But there's a lot of similar data, similar themes that you'll hear about. So first off, I just wanted to start by getting hands up on the hoteliers here. I just want to get a quick kind of visual. All right, perfect. So I'm going to pick up where Stefan left off. It's all about the acquisition strategy that you want to build through Hotels Tonight is to get them in the door. But for you hoteliers, pay attention to this if you want to actually build a strategy to own that guest relationship and try and get them to come back and become a loyal customer and book direct through you. That's really the foundation of this presentation today. So a little about Revinate. We take the hotel's data and combine it with our technology to build lifelong relationships with your guests. That's really what it comes down to. We have 25,000 plus hotels worldwide that have trusted us to help them build these customer relationships. Specifically in region, we have an office in Sydney and an office in Singapore where we have training, support, and a customer success team. So I'm J.D. Kane, Senior Director of Business Operations. I have over 15 years experience in CRM and 5 years experience in hospitality, technology, and operations. So really the agenda that I want to cover today is addressing modern guest expectations, and this is building on what we've heard already up here, a lot about mobile, a lot about engaging on the devices and engaging on the channels where people are connecting. We're going to be using data to drive actionable insights. So I really loved Peter's data, his amazing amount of data, and how can we actually take action from that quantity of data? And then lastly, increasing profit while differentiating your brand. So, there's a lot of consolidation in the OTAs, a lot of pressure from the OTAs wanting to own the relationship. And we want to give you the chance to get in there and use that as an acquisition channel, but then own that after that. And also differentiate your brand at the same time. I'll sprinkle in a little bit about Revinate and what our current customers are doing as well. So really, what are the big industry trends? Well, the modern traveler has changed. I mean, that's what everybody said so far. I've got my own stats here for that too. The Wise Travel Confederation released a report last November indicating that 22% of the world's travelers are millennials, and McKinsey & Company report highlighted that approximately 60% of those world's millennials reside in Asia Pac. So as we've seen, these customers are very social, they're very mobile, and they expect personalization. Next, the explosion of data everywhere. I'm going to throw a few acronyms at you. PMS, RMS, CRS, CRM, GSS, OTA, STR, BI. So if you have a few of those systems, connecting those and making the data work for you is quite a challenge. So there's no shortage of data out there. There's no shortage of vendors in this room, right? But how can you make sense of all that? And then, as I was saying before on the profitability and competition, it's all about getting the right mix in your hotel, namely getting them to book direct as much as you can, and also fighting off the social sharing economy of sites like Airbnb that are coming for the hotel business as well. So let's look at the millennial traveler. Now, these folks are using mobile more and more. They're expecting you to communicate on the social channels, and they're expecting you to also do this with the appropriate timing. Peter had some fantastic data around when to actually try and drive conversions. I mean, it's about understanding when you send out the messages and when you try and convert. understanding when people are talking on those channels and responding to them, and also doing this in a personalized environment where you need to include their likes and dislikes in the communication. Perhaps if they filled out a survey about your hotel, include something about that. And if they are engaged on social channels, let's understand their preferences, their likes and dislikes on those channels as well. And that's all the expectation of the guests that are coming to your hotels these days. So here's some specific stats around that. 51% of travelers have written a review about their accommodation upon returning from a trip. So let's see if that's true here. How many people in here have written a review? Let's see. This room should probably be close to 100%. Yep. So look, I would estimate that was about 50 or 60%. So we fit those statistics. They're sharing it. It's public. It's out there. Now, specific to New Zealanders, 90% aged between 16 and 65 are expected to own a smartphone device by 2018. And I would say the other 10% are the younger siblings waiting for the hand-me-downs from the other ones. Yeah. So look, everybody, I think we've beaten that one to death. The guest is mobile. So let's talk about the channels that you could possibly engage on. Looking at the guest life cycle, one thing that I put this up here for is to jump out at you. There's only one bit there that's in stay on property. The rest of these channels are all around the outside of your property experience. So the point there is you must become engaged on these channels. That's where they're making their decisions. That's where they're looking at the competition. And, you know, like we've been saying, the competition is building and wants to own that guest experience in these places as well. So, you know, you must engage. Now, we have a great example of a customer that's doing this. The Amore Hotels, 7 hotels worldwide, fantastic brand, and their flagship property is the Amore Hotel in Sydney. Now, what they did was, they had before July 1st, 2014, they were getting 33 reviews per month on average. That was good enough for a 56th place on the popularity index, but when they put a solution in place to drive more reviews to TripAdvisor, starting on July 1st through our platform, they instantly went from 33 per month to 150 per month. So almost a 400% increase in reviews on TripAdvisor, and we could get into the reason for that. We just have a low friction, direct push there where they don't have to log in. But what that did was, in just 3 months, move them from 56 to 35, and then they've continued with this initiative, and they are actually 26th today. So really moving up 30 spots in about a year. And what that translated into, for every $1 that they estimated they were putting into this program, then they got 6 in return. So getting to personalization, I mean, it's really about comfort for the guest, feeling respected, and 3 of 5 say that they tie this level of comfort to a personalized service. So we believe, and this is very strong at the core of who we are, that knowing and understanding your customer must be at the center of your guest experience strategy in order to own the customer relationship. I mean, if you agree with that statement, let's look at the rest of this presentation about how you might be able to do something like that. So we talked about the explosion of data everywhere. Yeah, although there is an explosion, I was sitting next to Peter last night at dinner. We were talking about, how good is that data? And if that data that you're looking at is limited, then you are therefore making decisions based on incomplete information, false information, the old crap in, crap out. I don't know, is that just a US thing? I'm sure it's worldwide. So you need good data in there to make good decisions. And then, of course, it's fragmented. For all of my IT directors out there, getting a unique ID between two systems and syncing information or having, two databases of information is the bane of my existence, and I'm sure it is for you too. So this is a great stat in here. 79% of companies face challenges when connecting data from disparate sources into a single customer view. I want to meet the 21% that don't, because you're lying. This is a very difficult thing to do. And you have redundant databases all over the place. So let's take a look at what you do see. All right, on the right, you see that there's a lot of guest data out there, but what you get in that reservation is the name, the check-in, nights, and rate. Does Hotels Tonight send through the email address? That's a big one. I mean, you want that email address to be able to take that relationship from there. And then on the left, there's a good example of, in the modern era, what are the different data sources that are potentially out there. You have TripAdvisor, you have your OTAs, point of sale systems, email communication systems, PMS, of course, and all the social sites. So there's a ton of data out there, but we just see a very small, limited subsegment of that data. So really, where does it start? And that's really on building and maintaining a quality database. So you build your quality lists, you segment your database, and then you send relevant content. So building a quality list, easier said than done. Peter had a fantastic presentation all around this, capturing the missing emails at the front desk. We were joking again last night about the amount. One hotel did this incentivized program, and they got 100% email completion, but I believe around 40% of them just had an X or a period in the email address. Well, they put in data, you made the field required, but now you have complete crap data. So you really need to incentivize getting the proper email address and build the programs around a scrubbed email list. And we know how essential that is if the guest didn't book directly. I mean, this is the key to unlocking, owning that guest relationship, so it's worth building a program around this. So next, segmenting your database. Here's a good example of how one of our customers did this. The Whitney Peak Hotel, they're in Reno, Nevada, and they're right in downtown, the capital of Nevada. But they had road closures for a big event. What they did was they took their pre-arrival list and they sent it out based on who is in the local drive market. Something very easy to do, a little sliding scale. Let's pull it out to 100, let's put it out to 200 miles. And they send a note to these folks saying, if you're driving in, here's the way you get to the hotel. Something like that already makes them feel personalized, that you care about them, that you're looking forward to the stay, and that you're giving them a heads up on something that's directly going to impact their experience at your hotel. Now next, one of my favorites, one of our hotels in Seattle has a golf course as part of it. And so through social channels, you're able to glean and automatically attach your database full of golf enthusiasts. You can also add that interest level to the profile that you have in our system as well. But what they do is they fill their golf course with campaigns sent out to the golf enthusiasts. Drive market, once again, golf enthusiasts, and they're able to even fill the golf course even if they're not coming to stay on property. So what is the reward for doing this? And really comes down to personalized emails have a 25% higher open rate. They have a 51% higher click rate, and not on here, but they generate 75% more revenue than messages that aren't personalized. And another key point here that I want to emphasize is anytime you're sending out a campaign, you are giving customers the chance to unsubscribe to your messages too, or even worse, report you as spam. So it's all about making sure it is targeted and personalized so that at worst they ignore it and they don't get you on any type of email blacklist, because it's very difficult to come back from that position. So lastly, let's talk about the profitability and competition. It's all about getting people into rooms and optimizing the mix of people in those rooms. There are times when you're going to have peak occupancy, and that's fantastic, but let's look at the guests that are in your property at that time. Is it the most profitable channels? You want to understand your guest behavior. This is when they're on property as well, and let's understand how we can learn about that and use it. And Mike, if you're out there still, it's all about measuring ROI. This is as true as it gets. You're not going to put a system in place like this if it's not producing a return, and that's what we hear. I've been in hundreds of sales calls in the past 2 years, and I don't think one ended without talking about ROI. I've been in a few here while I'm down in New Zealand, and it stayed consistent. Everybody's asking about it. So really 39% of the regional gross bookings in the online travel market for Asia Pac were from OTAs. And that is up 24% year over year. So this is one of the fastest growing regions in terms of bookings through OTAs. So that is something to be acutely aware of. And let's look at how we had one of our customers segment and personalize. This was a great offer where they looked at guests that were there during the past end of summer season. So if you probably can't see the dates, but it's booked by late August and stays before late September. So they took people that had done a staycation type of target, once again looking at drive market, looking at people that booked during these times, but then also looking at people that paid the highest room rate. And they sent out a campaign, and this campaign alone generated 157 different stays and generated over $100,000 for them. So just pretty simple segmentation, but an effective campaign that really did great revenue for them, direct bookings. So when we talk about understanding your guest behavior, here's an example of our mobile app where you can understand what people are doing on property. They're making reservations at your restaurant. They're making concierge requests. They're doing room service orders. It really is the remote control for their stay. We agree with people that say you have to engage in the mobile game. And one key point here is that this is a mobile web. It's not a downloadable app. You get awesome downloadable apps like Hotel Tonight on your phone, but I don't know if you're like me. My phone is full of memory, so trying to put one more application on there isn't going to work. So for the hotels, this is all mobile web enabled. You can send a campaign, put a clear call to action and a button, link to it, and this launches right on Chrome or Safari and looks exactly like a beautiful web application. But you can get this data, put it into the profile, and then use it to retarget later based on what they actually did on property. And lastly, the measurable ROI. So far for customers running campaigns across our platform that are doing it, where we're helping them understand how to make them segmented, how to personalize messages. We offer a lot of help and training around this. We know there's varying levels of expertise that come in, to the hospitality marketing position. So we've been able to achieve a $4,000 average revenue per promotional campaign, and Rebecca's statement really summarizes this well. She was one of our first customers. With Revenate Marketing, our communications are very personalized and relevant to what each guest is looking for right now. So just real quickly about how we do this and the way we think about it, it's not, a hotel's not managing a inventory of 75 rooms. It's really managing a database of 20,000 guests. And for those guests, let's build this rich guest profile and build a rich guest profile for all of them. And the Revinate services stack up like building blocks and help build that rich guest profile along the way. They're made to be entry points into the Revinate solution, so it's not necessarily an all or nothing type of thing. You can bite off what you're ready to take on at your hotel, but really at the base layer is that social dashboard of understanding all the reviews that are coming in for you. I got to check and see if we have hotels tonight. I already took that action item. We got to get that channel in there. But bring that dashboard in, understand what people are saying about you. This actually helps you create campaigns as well, because you can benchmark against your competitors and understand what people are saying is different and special about your property. Surveys where you can ask your custom questions. Everybody in here has a survey solution. The unique spin on this is pushing it directly through TripAdvisor and getting that 33 to 150 TripAdvisor reviews instantaneously overnight. And then you see your popularity index go down, which is, makes the revenue go up. Then marketing-wise, that's now the platform to take the information from reputation, from surveys, combine it with your PMS. We also bring in social data, so you can build those robust campaigns, those targeted, personalized campaigns that get you that increased conversion, increased click-through, increased direct bookings. And then on top of that is the Engage mobile application, where you can really customize anything about your property, digitize the compendium, give them the room service ordering, booking anything, spa, restaurants, and wrap that into the profile as well, so you can use that in retargeting. So really, when you do that, it's a solution that spans across the different departments at the hotel. And when you look at the operations and customer experience side, it's viewing integrated guest data, getting the insights to increase the guest satisfaction. Revenue management, sales and marketing, you can segment and drive new revenue, increase loyalty. And then on the GM, exec, and ownership side, it's all about driving loyalty and repeat business, getting the return on asset. And not to mention, last but not least, it's very easy to install, very intuitive. We know there's a lot of turnover in the hospitality industry, and you need to make something that a lot of times we hear, they say, this looks like Facebook. And that's right. I mean, that's the way we're designing our products, so that it's super easy to use. Everyone can adopt it. You can retrain new folks that are coming on board very quickly. And of course, we have the global in-region support, because in the first slide, we sell to 160 different countries, and we want to make sure and service everyone properly. So thank you very much.